Hello, friends. Welcome back to the journey. I'm your host, Hans, and today we're gonna go over basics because I had a little bit of a conversation today, where people were kind of like, oh, like the how do you like meditate and whatnot? Because I was telling them, uh, you know, that I really like doing it, and you know, both of them said something very similar of to like what the stereotypical thing is, right? Go off into the forest or the woods somewhere and you sit down with your legs crossed and you do this and you think and clear your mind and whatnot. And that is definitely a way to meditate. However, there are multiple different ways to meditate, and there is a lot that goes on to meditating, so I figured I would talk the basics about it. Um, so yeah, let's get right into it. Let me pull up my paint and switch the scene real quick, and we'll talk basics. All right, I got the paint up. Switch to this. All right, artist glove is going on. We got this. Whoop, I didn't mean to hit you there. All right, pull this up fully. All right, and this is working. Yes, perfect. All right, so right, as I was saying, usually what people think of when they meditate, when they think of meditation, right, is, trees, right, right, trees. These are very fastly drawn trees, with a guy that is sat cross-legged, with their hands and their fingers, right, like this, with their eyes closed between the trees. And that is, as I said earlier, very good way to meditate. If that works for you, that's great. However, you can also meditate, just lying down, right? You can lie down on, the grass, or you can lie down on your bed, right? Let's turn this into a bed, right? Oh, it's a nail bed, which I did see. I didn't double check it, but apparently, you know, the epinephrine or something, some fancy chemical name in the brain, uh, that's sent off when like you feel a stimulus of like pain apparently helps with or can help with meditation. So double check that for me. Don't take my word for that because I didn't double check it. And well, it's also just good to double check what people say, especially on the internet, because they could be talking out of your ass or out of their ass, right? And I'm a guy trying to teach you how to meditate, so right. Anyway, moving forward, right? So this is definitely the stereotypical way, but you could do it laying down in the grass, on a nail bed if you want, on your just regular bed on your floor, right? You could do it kneeling. Uh, the big one that comes to my mind when I think of like a kneeling meditation, right, is like Geralt. Um, or the eyes are would be closed. Would be Geralt in like the main menu of The Witcher 3, right? You can see him like kneeling down with his eyes closed and swords in front of him. So that's another way to do it. And yeah, really like the pose doesn't matter too much. What matters the most is what goes on inside your brain, right? And one of the people that I was talking to today was like, yeah, my when I try to meditate and I sit down, my brain just starts racing. I was just like, I was there too, right? Like when I first started, I just thought after thought after thought after thought after thought, right? And it's just like that's I feel like that might be what happens for most people, and that is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, knowing that, you might be like, okay, well then what do I do then? And here's what you do. You might have seen some other people say it before, right? Though when a thought comes into your mind, right, just ask why. You know, Why am I having this thought? Or, why why does X thing cross my mind? X thing cross my mind. And then what'll happen is you'll get an answer, right? Right? So then when you get the answer, then well, that you might not need to go too much further. So usually, with that answer, you're like, okay, it'll be a new thought of like maybe something of like, I don't know, a past relationship or a past friendship. And, it's just like, okay, why does this thought lead to this answer, right? So then you ask why again. Why? You know, why is this relevant? Why does this new thought cross my mind? And then you'll get another answer, right? And then you do it again. And then, same thing, answer. And then you do it again and again and again and again until you get a get to the bottom of it. I can't tell you when the bottom of it is, right? It might be right, just the first one, right? You know, it, if you're getting like really particular with it, you know, uh, might be like, why don't I touch hot things? Uh, because my mother told me not to do that when I was a kid or something, right? I don't know. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, right? Or maybe, I know for myself, I definitely, oops, let me hit you again. On my right wrist, I don't think there's a scar. I'm not seeing a scar, but on my right wrist, like around here, um, also didn't mean to flip you off. I use my middle finger as a pointer finger sometimes. But anyway, like right around here, I remember I was like 4 years old or something, and I was going to reach up to get a cookie that was like fresh out of the oven, and I hit the little grate, and I burned myself. And that wasn't really fun. um, but right, that might be an answer for why I might be cautious around hot things, right? Because when I was 4, I went to reach for a cookie and I burned myself, and it didn't feel very good. Um, but sometimes you know you'll get like an intermediate answer. It might not be that immediate, right? So then you'll get an answer, as I mentioned earlier, that your new thought leads you back to a previous relationship, right? So I don't really have an example of that off the top of my head, but right. So, you know, why might be like why does this feel familiar? And then like maybe you're in a relationship or something, and it's just like, okay, why does this relationship feel familiar? Why does this situation feel familiar? And then your answer will be like, oh, I dated somebody that was acted very similarly. All right, and then it's just like, okay, so why did I date that person, right? So you ask the why again, and then you get an answer. And then you ask the why again, and you get another answer. And that one might be a bit longer, and you might need to get down to like 5 or 6. And then when you get to 5 or 6, maybe then you'll have your initial answer. Um, and you might not be able to do that right off the bat. I know I wasn't able to do that right off the bat. It definitely took me a while. Um, However, yeah, that's really the basics, right? You don't need to be doing this. Like, this is okay, but you don't need to be doing this all the time, right? You can just do it in your room, yeah, right? Do what you need to do. And, I definitely know technology is a big, like, addictive thing, right? Like you want to scroll to the next TikTok or the next Instagram reel or the next YouTube short, right? Well, if you catch yourself doing that, just turn it off for 10 minutes. So just click your phone off, throw it on your bed, you know, make it a little bit out of arm's reach so you aren't as tempted as if you were to put it in your pocket or, like I'm holding a deck of cards right now. Let's say with my phone, I just put it right there, right? That's very easy to pick up. Um, so you know, make it a little bit difficult, and it'll probably be a bit easier. But, if you think you have the control over yourself to not just pick it up after 2 seconds of putting it down, be my guest, right? I'm not here to judge. I'm not judging you. I'm just here to try to give some tips because I believe this information is very important and should be very important and should be more widely known and definitely not hidden behind all the like 5D ultra consciousness super spiritual type stuff. It's really basic, kind of like with anything. Right? There's very simple ways. I know my other videos were pretty like complex about thought and perception and all this other stuff, but I've heard that stuff before. And after doing a bunch of this and then having my own questions about things and meditating, mostly in my room. I was not out here. It's been mostly in my room in this very chair that I'm sitting in. I sit here, right? Sometimes I sit proper like this. Sometimes I turn and put my feet up on my bed, right? Sometimes I'm even just laying in my bed, propped up against the wall with my legs out, right? Um, though a big thing is definitely closing your eyes like this. Your eyes being closed, that I would recommend. You can meditate with your eyes open, though closing your eyes definitely helps to just see, like, to not be distracted by, like, anything in the material realm, right? That's a little bit of an advanced idea, if you will. Um, but, yeah, like, everything that our eyes see could be considered a distraction. So closing your eyes definitely helps with not inputting that and then getting down to this business. And yeah, I still do this. It's like, okay, why does this happen, right? And it could be something like a trigger, right? So somebody says something that makes you angry or annoyed or whatever. Ask why. Why did this annoy me? Why did this anger me? Why did this piss me off? Why did this make me feel sad? Why did this make me feel depressed, etc., etc., whatever the feeling is, right? And sometimes these answers, I will also say that sometimes the answer will be feelings. It might not be a might not be another thought. It might be feelings. So it could be here I'll put thought or feeling, right? And it's also important to remember to don't suppress either of these. Don't suppress, because more than likely you have that trigger because you did suppress it. Um, sarp, sarpness, sur, suppress. I know my handwriting isn't the best, but whatever. Um, so yep, I think that's about it. All right, so a thought or a trigger will happen. Trigger slash thought, if you want. A simple way to look at it. Trigger slash thought. Trigger slash thought. Ask why, right? So this might be the full sentence, right? Then, whether when you ask this, then you'll get to your answer, right? And then you think or feel, right? Don't suppress it. Then after you think and feel the thought or feel the feeling, ask again, and then, repeat this process, right? Or wait, it wouldn't go there. This would go, right? It would go to the answer, right? Then think or feel it again, right? Because you'll ask the why, and then you'll get another thought or feeling. You'll get here, and then you'll think or feel the thing again, and then you go to why. If you need to go to why, right? And it's just again and again and again and again and again and again until you feel satisfied and you have nothing deeper to go, at least at that moment. And yep, that's that's about it. So yeah, that's the basics. So that's all I have to say. Um, I'll wrap it up here. And if you have any questions or comments or something, I'll be looking at the comments. So uh, yep. And if you guys want me to like teach something or make a video about a part of spirituality or consciousness or whatever, right? Um, leave ideas in the comments below, and I'll try to whip up a video about it. Uh, I don't have anything off of my mind, then I'll meditate on it and see what I come up with, because um this is the basic way to do things. Um, this is like kind of like the concept around it, but your actual actions are what can lead to the healing. Um, so you know what? Maybe I'll do basics too next time. uh, where we build off of this, and you guys get a better understanding. I kind of want to keep these short to like 10, 20-minute videos at most, because I could sit here and ramble for about a solid hour, which doesn't really bother me, though I do know the age of technology has like reduced attention span and uh, a retention for information. So, um, got to work around that a little bit, right? So, um, I'll stop rambling about this for right now and say that I love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful time wherever you might be, and I'll see you again real, real soon. Bye bye.